Hey everyone. So this is kind of a follow-up video for the post that I made, Tips for Tilters, that I put up in our Dota 2. And I wanted to talk about the origins of tilt, at least for me, what I've discovered. Remember, I'm not a psychologist. I haven't really studied psychology formally. I've just coached a lot of people and dealt with tilt myself throughout my competitive life, playing college sports and beyond. And so this is what works for me. And this is what I figured out why I personally get upset the most in a competitive environment. So specifically talking about Dota 2, it's the feeling of being powerless. As a human being, I think we naturally crave the control of our environment. That makes us feel safe. It makes us feel good when we feel like we are in control of the situation. And so when we feel powerless, it's the exact opposite. You feel afraid, you feel defensive, angry perhaps. And this is something that can happen pretty easily in a game like Dota because you're not in control of everything. It's a team game. You don't have the ability to make all 5 players play optimally. You can only focus on yourself. And so when something goes wrong, it is very easy to look elsewhere, to look towards your teammates as being the source of that wrong thing happening. Because another characteristic of being human is that we don't like to accept that we're at fault. I think this is just the case for like 99% of people. It's really hard at first to discover that you helped cause the problem, right? It's very easy to externalize the problem. And when you do that, you then actually feel more powerless. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle. You feel powerless, something bad happens, then you place that blame for that thing on somebody else, and you are now giving the power of what's happening to these other people who you can't control, which makes you feel even worse. And that will escalate your feeling of being upset because you want to have an impact. You want to control what's happening, but you feel like you can't. And it's true that sometimes there's games that are like almost impossible to win. I don't know if necessarily a game is 100% unwinnable at all times, but the thing is that some games are harder than others, and you have to play almost perfectly to win those games, and that's really difficult. It's a lot of pressure, and pressure to perform oftentimes, especially if you're not comfortable, will make you perform worse. And then once you perform worse, you suddenly start feeling like, oh no, I can't carry my team to victory. This is horrible. So instead, I'm just gonna lash out at them and tell them that they're bad. And if only you guys would play better, we could have won this game. But I mean, that's not constructive. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your team. And the thing is that feeling empowered is such a positive emotion, and it has this really big spreading effect. So realize that you're not the victim. There's always something you could do better. And if you can then take that and empower your teammates, and I've suggested it in another video where if you kind of communicate to them that you have their back, you show them that you have their back, it empowers them. And then if that goes well, then you are now empowered because people are looking at you as a leadership figure. And they will look to you for advice, and that's where you want to be as a person, right? You want to be in control. So instead of trying to seize control and put everybody else down so that they have to look up to you, which doesn't work. Instead, elevate your team, and then they will look to you as that source of power for the team. And I know that's super difficult, especially with 4 random people who might not even speak the same language. But it's really all about kind of just practicing being like this positive, powerful force. And, you know, I find that if I'm doing stuff like exercising and eating well and sleeping well, that goes a long way towards me feeling powerful in my normal life. And that translates into every action that I do. So if I go to the gym, I hit it hard, I feel strong, I'm gonna come into a game of Dota and feel strong in it. And it might sound a little bit ridiculous, but it's totally how it works, at least for me. So, give it a try. Empower yourself and then play the game and see if there's a difference. Thanks.